and Claudie's here too. Hi, Claudie.
Hi, sweetie. How are you?
So good.
Hey.
Are you a risk-taker, Claudie?
Oh, man. Yeah, every chance I get.
Do you think that it has anything to do with cause and effect, this risk-taking, to get to a point where you will take the risk to try something new?
Well, I think you have to be the kind of kid that wants to see new stuff, and the same old stuff just gets boring after a while. And it's fun to look around the corner to see what's happening on the other side. I want to know everything. Tell me all. If you've only got, a couple of nights to spend, at least to spend a couple of nights peeking around the corner, see what's going on. You might see something very interesting. That's the way it appeals to me. Anyway, you guys are so right on, man. I like that, changing it from dreams to awareness. That's cool. That really hits the nail on the head. I mean, it puts you right in the exact spot you need to be. Look for the awareness, because the more we become aware of what's going on during our day, the more chance we get to see it at night when we go to sleep. Woohoo! Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Claudie. Yes, this word awareness seems to be, I guess, what I would say is an important word. They give some words that describe it in the dictionary: knowledge or perception of a situation or fact. To become aware of something, like cause and effect, and all these lessons in these psych realms we experience for who knows how many lifetimes. It sounds like thousands of lifetimes in different forms, in different worlds. All these lessons, I guess, are just things we need to have a comparison to these real universes where there's real freedom and real love instead of just the emotional stuff that we know here in the psych realms. I wonder how that cause and effect works. When we have great pleasures in life, is that balanced out with great sufferings or pain? Is there something like that is part of the lessons in these psych realms? Can we have great pleasure without having suffering? Is that a comparison? Does anybody have any thoughts on that?
Well,
or ideas?
It's our choice. We have free will for the experiences we choose to have. There is the cause and effect in effect here, you could say, in creation, but we do have a choice and free will to do, and especially if you have awareness, you can, in essence, get beyond this in a certain way. So it's your choice, I'd say, in terms of that. Your question there, it's your choice. If you want to go through extreme pleasure to extreme pain or discomfort, whatever, or not, it would be a choice, I'd say.
Thanks, Val, for your explanation. This Blog Talk show is trying to share with others. It's for those who are struggling to become more aware and don't know how. On Earth right now, we have this new presentation being presented by Dwayne Hepner, and he has Adventure Is series books available at lulu.com or on this modern technology through Kelsey or Val or Henry, to be able to get some of these books to read and try to see if it's important or something that makes sense. See if for yourself if it's pure and sincere and humble, and if there's gratefulness involved. Kind of like, what is the real purpose why we came here into this psych realm experiences or lessons? And do we want to continue to just stay in these psych realms where we should be able to see that there are things taking place that are getting worse and worse here that we should be becoming aware of? Our air and our water and our food all seem to be being polluted or poisoned or altered or changed. And then the powers that be, it's like this risk-taker position. If you went into these religious institution buildings and you started telling all these what are called religious fanatics that their God is a reptilian, and it has them convinced that there's something that created you other than your own being, that they would practically do away with you very quickly one way or the other if they can. So there's got to be some, what makes sense is you don't go into a Catholic church and start telling them you're all a bunch of idiots and don't know what's really going on, and that your God's name is Callum. And so it's not to argue with them, but that I don't see that they would accept that as truth or something that they'd be interested in. It seems like there's got to be certain ways to present this new presentation to those that are ready. And I guess that's up to the real guides who have the awareness, the knowing of who is ready to have the opportunity to be presented with this new presentation that we're trying to share with others so that they can get out of these psych realms in this lifetime into the real universes and not have to return here into a worse batch of lessons of deformed bodies and more poisoned air, and more poisoned water, and more poisoned food, and just plain an existence of more wars or starvation or disease, on and on, that doesn't exist in the real universes. It's about the opposite going on Earth in many ways. That's the comparison. So it's up to each of us to decide whether we want to continue just paying attention to all these worldly things in our life, or to pay attention to some real guidance and get a real education about what life's all about. To get to know what real freedom actually is, instead of being on a human farming prison planet where we're being controlled and tap-lined and have all kinds of rules or regulations or laws that are forced upon us by the brutalitarians and the authoritarians in this particular psych level, which is the physical. And then I guess that there's the astral, and it has places that are pretty bad, like hell, compared to some of the heavens that are in the astral, and the mental realms, places, worlds, but still there's not the real freedom or the real love. So we're trying to take a look at the bigger picture of life, see what it's all about, to be able to complete our experiences in these psych realms so we don't have to return anymore, and where we can have such a wonderful being or that we can't even imagine how good life could be is. Is there anybody else that would like to mention anything today while we're discussing the risk-taker position or about the cause and effect or anything?
Yes, this is Claudie. I'd just like to say, when I was a little girl getting ready to go to school for the first time, it was real scary. I was not all that enthused, but I wasn't all that scared off. I was curious. I wanted to know what school was like. And I found out that it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, and it even had some good times. When my mama put me on the bus and said, okay, sweetie, you can make this day good or you can make it sad. You choose. So ever since, I've decided to make my days good, even though there's been tragedy to go with it, or fright, or any number of things that would dissuade one from going on. If you live life, it's like, to me, a walk in an enchanted forest. Some spots are just beautiful. Some spots you don't want to ever go back again. So we have a choice. We can make our lives what we want of it. We can make it pleasant. We can make it hard. We can make it sad. We can even make it fun. And I chose fun. The one thing that I found at school that I liked was playing marbles at recess. And so I decided, I think I'll stick on through. The same thing happened when walking into the new presentation. Hey, this is pretty good. No restrictions, freedom. You can choose what you want. Okay, I'm in. So from there, that's my enjoyment of the day, is to be able to say, hey, you have the freedom to make a choice. You don't have to go down the same road everybody else is going down. You can take a side road and see different sights. It'll make the journey interesting. And, of course, take some cookies. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks again, Claudie. Yes, I'm aware now that life is all about becoming more aware. Well, can we see what the difference is between our personal self and the real self? To become aware of our real self, maybe that's all this is all about, these lessons for thousands or maybe millions of lives. Because we have endlessness. We're going to get to be forever. Sounds like that's how it is. So this is just a blink of an eye each lifetime and the experiences in it. How many times does it take, or how many times did it take these universal guides, these real guides, to get to the point of awareness that they are right now, and that some of them are here to help those that are ready to get out of these psych realms. Like somebody must have probably helped them, because without their help, it sounds like we're stuck in these psych realms. So we have to be taking the risk to find out, is the stuff true. That's for each of us to test, and the New You song is like the beginning of our opportunity to see what life shows us, to become aware of what it reveals about what life's all about. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to mention?
I don't remember where I heard this, but it was about boredom. So people come to the end of their experiences where they've experienced everything they pretty much can, and they're just plain bored. So they say to themselves, "What else is there?" And that's a point of possible point of discovery or enlightenment, you could say, or more awareness, better. And they can. Well, one view is they get to the top of creation and they get to pick, are they going to be a black magician or a good magician? That's one view. Maybe they choose to become the black magician and they go the way of the cabal and the reptilians, and that's a whole set of lifetimes right there when you get involved with something like that. I mean, you go deep into power and control and manipulation and all that. And you can become the good guy, the saint, and that too, you fall into this sort of like, discipline and asceticism and all the so-called religious spiritual idea. And you go through that for a while. It could be eons. You could do that, thinking that you've reached something. But then there's another way, which we suggest, which is just become more aware, be real. You don't have to go either way, black or white, good or bad. Just be real about things. Look at the way things are already. Face things as they come up. Face yourself, and life will start showing you what is real. And with this connection with the new you right now, we have something available to do that with. But the idea, backing up again, it's like somebody said this, it sounds kind of interesting, boredom, you've gone through the range of experiences in the creation world, so what else is there? Well, now there is something else. There's something else to look at. Are you going to be just bored, and just basically doing nothing, sitting on your butt, or are you going to, if it's a risk, yeah, call it that. I just say, are you curious at all? Are you like, is there anything besides what you think you know? Well, now there is. Some of us here are saying that there is something more than you think you know. So are you willing to take a look at it? And it could mean a little discomfort. I mean, we don't tell people that, but usually, when you start facing yourself, there is some of that going on. But it doesn't have to be, but usually is. But it's well worth it. It's well worth facing yourself and facing life, what life gives to you, which it will, because the more you become awake and aware, the more it will give you to work with or to handle or to manage. And you look at the real guides like Dwayne the Great Rider, and he manages, pretty much everything in creation. I know Claudia can attest to that, because she's part of that too. It's just you got to handle the whole of creation, basically, and that's a huge undertaking. And that's where we are right now with the Earth being, it's somewhat of a centerpiece for all the other alien factors and and reptilians and forces that we have in creation, including the Kalam God, they're looking, they're watching us, and they're doing what they can to offset what we're doing to help people wake up. And we see that with the fires, with the purposely planted fires in California here. And it's just, it kind of gets obvious after a while if you really look at it and you listen to some of the so-called conspiracy theorists and what they're talking about. It just becomes really plain as day that this is really going on. This is like the dark forces are really trying to stop what we're doing right now, and they're just scattering. They're frazzled because they see the earth from the other side, the real side, and most of the public doesn't see it. So they see what's going on. There's points of light. They're losing some control, so they'd rather destroy everything, including themselves, rather than let others become more aware and awake. So it's really a prime time for everybody to take advantage of becoming more aware.
Yeah, thanks again, Val. Yes, we are here for a very specific reason, and that is to wake up and discover our real purpose. So, would anybody else like to mention anything? I guess then that was a good discussion today, trying to share a little bit about the new presentation and how to become a real risk taker and earn our way out of these psych realms, finally, into the real universes. So unless anybody else has something they'd like to say, we could end the show singing the new you song. I'll start. New you.
Thanks, Tim.
Yeah, thanks, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Val.
Tim.
Thank you, Kelsey.
Yeah. You're welcome.